It doesn't get much bigger than this. Unless it does. Unicron and Primus are pretty much as big as it gets though when it comes to Transformers. Perhaps not in terms of scale. There's plenty of official releases that tower over them, but as characters, they represent the forces of good and evil in multiple Transformers universes. They're important, and it's important that we arbitrarily decide which one has the better toy. It's Chaos Bringer versus Lord of Light. And for this one, we've overhauled our Quintesson system. That's the five-pronged point system that will determine which planetoid is best. And to be honest, it was written on the back of a napkin on a roller coaster the first time, so it deserved a bit of an overhaul. 5 rounds. Whoever wins the most walks away with the title. We'll introduce the new categories as we go. Now, Repugnus, do you want to handle the intros?
Ugh, no, I can't be bothered, honestly. Antonio, can you handle this?
My pleasure, sir. Round 1. Aesthetics.
Now we're going to look at both modes for each toy and making the decision on which one looks best. Now let's take a look at Unicron first, and if my notepad would stop changing the word to unicorn, I would really appreciate it. There's no second guessing who this is supposed to be. I think at this point Unicron would be at least recognisable by folks who dimly remember to the Transformers the movie. This really is a great representation of the character, great proportions in the robot mode, and I really love that translucent chest piece. There's always an expected amount of kibble hanging off this toy, but Unicron doesn't have that much to worry about. The shells on his back and the planet sides on the shins are a little messy, but it could have been so much worse. I also love how big they made his feet, a transformer that recognises what a pain it would be to stand him up. That's fantastic. The planet mode is definitely less successful from a purely aesthetic standpoint. For one, it's not round. It's vaguely planet-like, but that back section with the feet looks pretty half-arsed. The flat surface at the bottom does help keeping them from rolling off the table, but it takes away the idea that Unicron is a whole planet. Still, it's got a big chomping maw, the massive horns, the impressively sculpted ring around him that makes me think of Deep Space Nine. It's still very impressive and remains recognisable as Unicron. Now, Primus is decidedly smaller than his counterpart. It's a bit of a reverse situation of Unicron. The robot mode takes the hit when it comes to the aesthetics to ensure the planet mode works. So good news first, I do adore this colour scheme, and the head sculpt is just perfect. Tons of detail on this sculpt, much more than Unicron had. I think that goes a long way to give the impression that Primus is a living planet. And this becomes way more apparent in the actual planet mode, of course. The robot mode is decent, but there's just too much happening. The giant planet halves on his back, those terrible feet, and this big flap hanging off his arse, it's just too messy. Still, get him into the planet mode and all is forgiven. Oof, is that ever round? Immediately, there it is. It's Cybertron. So much detail, the little cities and the towers and just the artillery that peppers the landscape. There's so much to pore over. It truly gets across how big Primus is, even if he is smaller than Unicron. I think this is necessary over Unicron because Primus is inhabited, while Unicron isn't, if he can help it. Still, there's something very satisfying about how round it all is, and it does that without resorting to shell forming, which is quite impressive. Even the little towers that become stands to keep them steady, it's lovely, it's just a really great mode. Now this is a difficult one because each toy picks up the slack where the other one shits the bed, but I think overall Primus does do a better job in the looks department. That planet mode does so much of the heavy lifting, but the robot mode, it's no slouch either, besides those horrible feet. There's no excusing those, but still, this round, Primus takes it.
Round 2. Features.
Now, as big toys, these lads are packed with features. We'll take a look at Primus first, eh? Come on, be fair for once in your life. Primus comes with the Omega Lock. This is a device that simply refuses to power down unless I take the batteries out. You can plug the Cyberplanet keys into it, but they don't do anything, so why would you? Actually, plugging the key into the sides here on the planet do pop out the guns, so that's something. Plus he has 9 Minicon ports on him that do nothing really, but it's funny to do this at least. The Omega Lock goes in here and it starts your transformation, triggers sounds and flipping out these incredibly large cannons. During the transformation itself, you get these lights and sounds. See, I really dislike that wet sounding laser noise at the end, it just sounds wrong. And in his legs there's these extra cannons you can pop forward, and these creepy extendable claws, which seems like they'd be better served on Unicron. We have firing missiles on his shoulders too, and the planet mode cannons make a reappearance on his forearms. Overall, there's a lot to enjoy here. Some of it's predicated on not losing the Omega Lock or the Cyberplanet key down the toilet though, so that's rough. Unicron, he's a strange one. He comes with his little partner Dead End, who turns into a moon. He's a lot of fun actually. I do like the giant gun on the arm a lot. He's hefty, he slots into this groove just below Unicron's chompers, and they do chomp adorably when you pull on the horns. The rings on the outside have so many ports for minicons, they're all over the toy. I don't know who has that many minicons, well, I suppose you do, eh? Press down on Unicron's bonce and his eyes light up. His hand lights up too if you push it in. I don't know why it does this, but the red hand of Unicron owes no explanation. If you plug a minicon into his back, you get this genuinely frightening missile launch from his chest. I got the fright of my life when this happened the first time. I did not expect the noise or the ferocity of the missile launch, so good on them. You can also fire missiles from these ports in both modes when Dead End is plugged into the port here. Finally, you're able to store minicons or small sweets in the stomach cavity, and the backs of his legs have a similar storage for, whatever you like really. Both toys have great features, but Unicron does take it. It's an almost intangible quality. Unicron's features are just more fun to mess around with. Maybe it's just how metal he is, that crunching mouth and the glowing hand and the huge missile. Yeah, definitely. Primus almost seems boring by comparison when it comes to features, so Unicron takes it.
Round 3, Transformation.
Unicron's got more to do, so we'll look at him first. The biggest issue with Unicron's transformation are those two wings on the back. These will pop off at the slightest touch, so to be honest, I usually take them off until I'm finished. And it's all the little things that make transforming Unicron so much fun. Folding his horns down, getting those lovely individual fingered hands into their houses, it's all pretty effortless. My favourite part is when you transform out of planet mode and the arms extend out from the abdomen. And the first time I did this I mumbled, oh my god, it's like that bit in the film. It's a little bit of a pain to get everything to line up just right. The feet in particular make it more difficult to snap these planet shells right into where they should be. The rings too. One end plugs into the holes between the feet and the other inserts into this hole at the front, meaning it is super steady and rigid, which is definitely what it needs to be. It's a satisfying transformation and surprisingly simple for such a big lad. But what Primus lacks in style he makes up for by being a big fancy pants with his Cyberplanet key and the Omega lock. Coming from planet mode we get that cool separation and flipping out of the guns we saw earlier, and then we get this really satisfying fold out of Primus's body. Use the Omega lock to turn the shins around, and all these little parts come forward as well. It's really impressive, it's really fun to do, just don't lose that lock. You can do it without all this, but you can tell the toy doesn't like it. The auto transform of the chest segment, it's hit and miss. It can take some serious force to drive Primus's head up and trigger those sounds. Same on the way down too. It feels like you're going to break it or something every time. Still, seeing those shoulders come in and the chest pieces come together, it's very cool and quite unique. Having transformed them both a bunch for this review, I would have to give the best transformation to Unicron. It's more involved, it's more fun. I don't dread transforming Primus, but Unicron has lots of little moments that feel good between each mode. Primus just can't really compete as good as he is. Oh, and Primus also has this weird battle station mode where he splits in half, and to be honest, it loses points for clearly trying to just pull the wool over all our eyes.
Round 4, Fiddle Ability.
This one's more about which is more likely to get taken down and messed around with. Say they're both standing on the shelf together, imagine that. Which one am I most likely to put on my desk for the day? And for this one, I'd have to say Primus takes it. He's just quicker, there's less horseshit to deal with over Unicron. Unicron's shells popping off, the rings, it's something you have to have time for. Primus feels much more like you can pick him up and start flipping stuff around. All those small features like the cities and the cannons, they're just really interesting to pour over, So Primus does take this round.
Round 5, Posability and Display.
So we now know which one will get taken down from the shelf the most, but which one gives you the most options when it comes to display? I guess it depends on which mode you're going to display in. I don't know how many people display these lads in their planet modes. I might sometimes, but 9 times out of 10 they're going to be robots, standing there, giving each other the stink eye. To get the best out of them, you've got to get them posing, and for this, Unicron is far ahead. He's just got a better range of articulation, his big feet make it easier to balance, depending on his pose of course. Primus is smaller, but packs a lot more density into that little package. He's harder to move around, you're basically going to have him standing there stock still. When it comes to planet mode, Primus is best for display, yes, but as I say, how often are you really going to do that? So taking all these things into account, Unicron wins this one. And that's it. So we have our winner. The Chaos Bringer takes the contest. Darkness has triumphed over the light, as if that was a surprise in 2021. Now, this is the obligatory part where I say, yes, both toys are a lot of fun and both are worthy of your attention. No need to go mad in the comments, because I don't care. Unicron definitely feels more like a toy, more like a playset, really. He's great to get down once in a while and just get those gnashers going, you know what I mean? Well, there we go. That was another pointless versus video. Did you enjoy that? Did you disagree with any of my points? Let me know in the comments and I'll tell you personally, I do not give a shit.